let's quickly get into the betting and chat about some of the decent opportunities for punters out there. We've got England massive favourites at 2-1. You've got India at 3-1, Australia at 9-2 or 4.5-1 for those less educated. South Africa 9-1, New Zealand 10-1. New Zealand I wouldn't take at 100-1. I mean, they got no chance for me. Pakistan at 14-1. I mean,
I think Australia at 9-2 is a bloody good bet, because they get on a bit of a roll. They get on a roll. They've got the players to actually be successful, and they have started to build something. They went to India and they won the ODI series there. Mm-hmm. They've got Warner back, they've got Smith back, and I fancy Mitchell Starc to do some damage in this World Cup. And he stays injury free. He can be lethal. And they're a good side, and they've got a culture of winning and a history of winning. Yeah. Like you say, New Zealand for me would be a side that could potentially get to a semi-final, but they're never going to go on to win it. Yeah, Pakistan, no price.
I disagree with you there.
South Africa is for at those betting odds at 9-1. You've got to put money on them.
Yes.
I don't think they will win it personally.
No.
But you've got to put money on them. No. So if you're a punter, I would say go Australia and go South Africa. Because
I've got to say more than just go. I've got to, we've got to look at giving people some solid advice. Let me break it down this way. So, I agree with Wade. Australia 9-2. What are your thoughts on that?
Good value. I think England are favourites, but are they going to win it? Would you bet your house on it? No, you wouldn't. There's just too many other.
Not my house.
Well, yeah. You wouldn't bet my house. So, I mean,
I would actually. I mean, as long as it wasn't my house. That's.
So I think Australia, the value is there, and an outside patriotic punt on South Africa isn't ill-advised.
Patriotic punt, I like that.
Yeah. I do like. I don't know what the price is, but South Africa to place. Make the semi-finals.
18-10, almost 2-1. So 18.
Double your money.
Oh yeah.
Double your money on South Africa to make the Final Four. That's something that I would.
I love that bet, Wade. I think that South Africa are. If there's a certain bet in this World Cup, South Africa will be making the semi-final. They're too good not to. I'm going to put 5,000 Rand down on South Africa to make the semi-finals. That pays back 11,000, 6,000 payout plus the 5,000 return.
What do you say, Mark?
Yeah, look, there's those first two matches, 2 out of 3. England, India, they get one of those wins, you've got to back them to make the top 4. They stumble in both of those, the pressure starts, and New Zealand knocks them over. Then an Afghanistan game starts becoming one of those, do we touch it, don't we touch it? They've got Rashid Khan, whose figures are just astronomical as a spinner. He's gained at an average of 15, economy rate 3.6. You think, how are we going to cope with a guy we've never played against? And we've been prone to kind of buckle against that kind of nonsense. So you'd have to say top 4 would be South Africa in it. I like the West Indies as a weird kind of pick to get through there, and then an Australia and an England. West Indies just tend to do well in England when they play there.
Yeah. It makes for a great. I forgot. For me to win the World Cup, I think it's hard to look past England, especially if they get off to a great start. But there's still the pressure's going to build and mount. But I do like Australia at 9-2. Wade, we were chatting earlier on about. How Australia were going in the right direction, and now with Steve Smith back and David Warner. Warner has been tearing up the IPL. He's looking so good. 9-2. It's just too good to pass up. So I'm going to put 2,000 Rand down there to win 11,000 back. It's a great bet. And don't forget, if we get to the finals, or the Australia gets to the finals, I may look to lay some of that money off onto.
Unless they play South Africa, then you double up.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's chat about guys for top batsmen in the tournament. I think some good value bets there. You got Warner at 14-1. You've got Bairstow at 10-1. You've got Kohli at 7-1. Which is not one I would touch, simply because he doesn't,
He struggles in those conditions, though.
He struggles?
What's he averaging, 55?
Yeah, he's in a mean patch.
Yeah, I wish I could struggle.
He's only scoring 100 every second innings.
Yeah. Look, I think India are a bit one-dimensional. I know you guys are going to laugh at me, but as Kohli goes, so do India.
I don't think India will make the last four.
Wow, that is Himalayan yak type balls you're putting on the table.
That's on video, so we put that for reference.
Yeah, we'll play back. We'll do a session after the World Cup, and hopefully we can play back some of that stuff.
Great graphics.
Yeah, exactly.
West Indies to make the
like
final four.
About Kohli's lean patch.
Yeah,
But you did pick. You did say that South African, the Springboks would beat New Zealand last year. So
I did, eh?
that was Himalayan-like.
It
you
was.
know? Yeah, indeed. So who would you guys be choosing for top batsman?
I like David Warner at the price as well.
14 to 1.
I like to when I bet, I like to marry the technical side with some value. And 14 to 1, double what you get on Kohli. He's going to face a lot of balls, and Australia are going to make the final four.
Yeah, that's a must. That's because
exactly. So you're looking at trying to pick the best batsman from England, India, and Australia,
or South Africa. I mean, but I don't fancy South Africa to have anyone in the top batting.
I don't think we've got one dominant player who's in that kind of form that will carry it.
No.
You'd think if Quinton de Kock gets on a roll, he's possibly the only one who could challenge that.
Yeah.
But his inconsistency at times in big tournaments has been a bit of a concern.
Yeah.
I'm with Wade there. David Warner, huge pick, but also Bairstow 10 to 1. He's just been in such good form. He seems to have found his place. He's confident.
Yeah.
And the one thing about that England top 7 is they have the belief that one will come off. So they go in and they want to bat at 6, 7 and over from the outset. Mm-hmm. It's not that one bloke has to make sure he's there at the end. So I think that's a very generous bet on him, 10 to 1.
The odds are good. My problem there is that because they bat so deep, if he just goes too hard too soon, he might get out, which is the opposite of a guy like Faf du Plessis. He's going to come in at 20 foot 2 more often than not, and he'll face a lot of balls solidify. You churn away a few 60s and 70s because of the high quality of the teams. I think that this World Cup isn't going to have an absurd number of hundreds. So I think that would be.
What would be an absurd number of hundreds?
I was just going to ask you that. What is absurd?
I don't think there'll be more than 300s by a player at this World Cup.
By an individual player. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? You've got 9 games.
9 games.
9 plus 11. So to win,
chances.
to be the
Cody
top.
Gets 5 out of those 11 most days. So I'm backing Cody to stumble twice.
So to be the top scorer of that tournament, you're probably going to need to be around 600 runs scored. I would imagine. For me, I love Warner at 14 to 1. I mean, it's such
hard to look past that.
Yeah, it's such a value bet. I like that. I'm going to take that for 1,000 rand to bring in 1,400 rand. To bring in 15,000 rand, sorry. I like Joe Root at 12 to 1. I put 1,000 down on that. And I like Bairstow as well at 10 to 1. I just think the winner's going to come from England and Australia. I like the fact that Bairstow and Warner are opening batsmen, so they're always going to get to face a lot of balls. And Root gives you a bit of backup if Bairstow or is it Roy that opens the batting with him?
They've got Roy. They've got a few options.
So I like that. I'm gonna put 1,000 rand down on all 3 and hope that one of them come in.
What is Steve Smith's odds?
Steve Smith. Let me get that for you, Marky.
That would be good to see, but also we're banking on 2 guys with massive stories over their heads just coming back in the side. We all fancy Warner, and I like Steve Smith as if you're looking for your backup to the Australian next scorer. Another Sandpaper Gate guy. This would be a hell of a
Steve Smith, 20 to 1.
If you just want to have a flutter on something, and you're happy
unpatriotic flutter.
Yeah, an unpatriotic one, and you're happy to lose that money. Yeah. Go Steve Smith, because we forget pre the scandal and pre kind of the ban.
Yeah.
No one could get him out.
Be it
ODIs or Test cricket.
He was tracking Virat Kohli shot for shot.
20 to 1. I think that's huge.
It is huge. But there's a reason it's 20 to 1.
Because he hasn't played for a year.
Yeah.
But he's back. He scored 100 the other day, or 90 odd not out. And
Yeah, I was on EA Cricket and I scored 100 the other day as well. Sorry to be so dismissive. For those out there,
we'll talk after the World Cup again with that blooper reel.
We've got Quinton de Kock at 16 to 1.
What's Faf?
Francois Duplessis,
That's him.
25 to 1.
That's my 100 rand left in my betting account. Watch that grow.
Clearly you haven't been following the money man if you've got 100 rand left in your betting account. Yeah, you know, Makram is 22 to 1. But let's go on to some other bets which interest me as well. We've got who are your 4 teams to make the semi-finals?
All right, so I'll go England, Australia, South Africa, and the West Indies.
Okay, this is for that sort of thing we're going to do after the show. Wade?
England, India, Australia, South Africa.
You didn't pick India, eh?
No. Do they play cricket?
Any interviews out there? Don't worry, Mark is mad. I have India, South Africa, England, and Australia. You know, I part of me likes Pakistan.
I was about to say you like Pakistan,
but you just can't. You know,
it's the threat of the blooper reel, I think.
Yeah, you know, they're the reigning
ICC
champions.
You never know who makes a call to those blokes on the.
Yeah, and that's
the
you know that is for
we are talking about betting and cricket.
For a punter, that's a real concern for me. It's you know it's I had bet on that Hansie Cronje game when he declared it in Pretoria. I lost a fortune. If he was still alive, I'd be suing him. Anyway, so betting we got England. We've got England. Who would you look at for South Africa? Just betting on South Africa now. Who would you think their top batsman will be just for them in the tournament? Who would you look at?
Faf.
I'm scared to agree, but that's Faf for me too.
Really?
Consistency-wise, Quinton de Kock could, if he gets on a roll, yes.
Quinton should be top price,
but no, because there's so much inconsistency with his batting at big tournaments. Faf, I can see him coming in and getting 60s, 50s, 45 knots. Where Quinton it's an 80 or an 8.
So you think the Faf will be wearing a cape at this World
Yeah.
Cup? Yeah. You know what's amazing is you look at Hamler, he's 7 to 2. You look at Faf, he's 7 to 2. I mean,
one's historic, one you've got to look at form.
One is guaranteed to play every game. One,
unless he's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, but there's nothing on the horizon for that. I like Quinton de Kock. So you're both wrong.
Okay. We'll revisit this one again at the Blue Round.
We sure will. 5 to 12. So it's just over 2 W money. For every 5 rand you bet, you get 12 back plus your 5. He's going to be in every game. He's going to open the batting in every game. He's going to have one or two explosive games. You know, I think he's probably going to get us a century. And he's probably maybe 2 centuries.
No, he goes out in the 90s like all the time. So.
Yeah, okay, so he's the 90-minute man. The reality of that as well is you've got to equate for possible rain shortened games. So when someone's chasing targets with shortened over with decreased overs, then the batting doesn't go so deep. So Faf might not even get into the game.
Faf's always in the game at 20 for 2. That's how top order plays.
So I'm going to put down 1,000 rand to win 3,400 on Quinton to be South Africa's top
run scorer.
Yeah, run scorer.
Yep, I mean,
it's going to be one or the other. I'll be very surprised if it comes.
The head says Quinton, the heart says Faf, and
Yeah.
My heart says
Mark, you don't have a heart.
Quinton. My head says Faf.
Okay, let's look at. We got another bet I love. Warner 2 to 1 for Australia to be the top batsman. What are you guys thinking there?
If you're dipping into that market, I mean, we have Warner to be the top batsman.
I dip into a lot of things, a lot of markets.
2 to 1 is not very attractive. There you want to look at Steve Smith, I reckon, and then
28 to 10.
And Aaron Finch is no slouch with the bat.
Since we've been speaking, Warner's come into 16 to 10. How's that? So forget about that. We're not going to touch that one. That's not value for me.
No.
What about England betting? You want anything there, guys? You like anything there from a batting point of view, or is there, it's? How about player of the tournament? Let's throw a few things there. Who do we think that could be the player of the tournament?
I think it's going to come from.
The odds-on, not the odds-on. The favorite is Kohli at 7-1. To me, that's
the favourite to be the leading run scorer, and that lends itself to being the player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Hard to look past Kohli, obviously, because India are going to challenge, and except in Mark's permutations. But
yeah.
Player of the tournament, you got to look at the guys who are going to top the batting charts, and then have a look at a bowler. And then who might be the best bowler at the World Cup. We haven't touched on that. So I think that's a lot more permutations and variables into that. I think Tahir is going to take a lot of wickets for South Africa. He's come into his own over the last 2 years, and he's got a skill set, and if Rabada can lay the platform, Tahir will take a lot of wickets. I'm not saying he'll be player of the tournament, but he'll run it close, I reckon, for wickets.
Yeah, I can't find any betting on leading wicket taker on WSB. Not the first time they've let us down.
In terms of player of the tournament, I think Australia will go well at this tournament, because they've also come in pretty much under the radar. But there's something that just tells me this could be Steve Smith's kind of return to international cricket and his tournament. Yeah. And don't be surprised, he even throws a few leggies in as well. One of those tight games, like picks up 2 or 3 wickets that you think he hasn't bowled for about 5 or 6 years. But
does Faf do any bowling?
He used to, but he doesn't anymore.
Also, he used to throw a few leggies over.
I didn't mind them as well. They weren't pretty at most times, but they can be effective. Those kinds of. If you think back to the 2015 World Cup, AB de Villiers turned his arm over. So. I think Faf's got to do with a few injury niggles and just too much on his body.
Yeah.
But the guy I want to see how he comes through this tournament is Archer for England. Barbados born.
Yeah.
He's played 3 matches, taken 3 wickets. He's best bowler. He's 1 for 6.
Yeah.
He bowls at 150 plus consistently, and he's walked into this World Cup with a reputation of a bloke who's taken 100 wickets in 41 ODIs, and it's like. The UK critics and press and ex-players are saying he'll play for England if he's injury-free for the next 10 years. So I'm very interested.
He hasn't been in any of the Pakistani warm-up games. Is that an indication that they've...
He was in the warm-up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
the first time he played.
He didn't take many wickets.
3 wickets, and best bowling 1 for 6.
How many games he played? See, I told you I knew as much. You could print it on the back of a matchbox. So.
Yeah.
He's played 3, but the rave is about him. And he's quicker and consistently at 150. And I know white ball cricket, they crank it up by about 10 clicks. Everyone bowls at 150 in the IPL, but he is genuinely quick, and he seems to. They think he's the final piece. To
Will he open the bowling?
I think it depends. At certain matches, they may bring him on as a change bowler, depending on who he's bowling against. But his big thing was he said, I'm going to get Kohli out in this World Cup because I haven't got him out in the IPL. He was very good in the IPL as well.
Okay. Well, it's something to look forward to. Look, I'm off to Boston on Sunday, and I have to speak to our tech guys to get me to be able to access the DSTV and the cricket stuff while I'm there, because this thing.
Not much cricket going on.
Not much cricket. No, it's just not cricket in Boston. A lot of rowing and stuff like that, apparently.
But we'll be back chatting after. He'll be back in a fortnight. We'll have played 2, going into the 3rd game.
Yeah.
We'll already know whether India is going to feature or not, whether it's Faf or Quinton de Kock.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that.
So the predictions: Australia for me, good value to win the World Cup. Bairstow, Warner, and Root to be with the top batsmen. I like Quinton de Kock to be top batsman for South Africa, and I think it's going to be a hell of a World Cup. I think you guys you don't think India's making the
I don't think they're making the top 4.
I can't wait to the follow-up show. Anyway, it's been great, guys. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Wade.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Mark.